not going to be nervous. And then now I'm like sobbing, so thank you. Also, when you hear my speech, you're going to think that we wrote them together, but we didn't. You can hear mine, I can hear hers, so. But anyways, good evening, everyone. My name is Michaela, and like Dr. Golan said, I'm a 2011 graduate from Gwynedd. 6 years ago, I sat in those very same seats, anxiously awaiting the moment where the current president, Jed, would hand me the gavel. I was so excited. As I sat there, hoping I didn't stumble in my high heels and praying that I wouldn't forget my carefully planned speech, I felt like I was about to take on the world. Well, I have, I still am, and I'm excited and privileged with the honor of sharing my story with you guys today. To preface, I want to share a little bit about myself. My life has been a roller coaster ride of triumph and tragedy linked together by my undying faith that I'm meant for greatness, even if that greatness is only in the eyes of one person. I had a flawless upbringing, 2 loving parents whose sole dedication was making sure that my sisters and I grew up well cared for and well-rounded. I lost myself in high school, and college was simply a matter of applications that I had to fill out. Little did I know, college, Gwynedd in particular, would end up being the place in which I found myself. Shortly after graduating, I lost something greater than myself. I lost my mom to an undetected brain aneurysm. My hopes of grad school and my career aspirations were absolutely crippled by grief and newfound responsibility. Fueled by the desire to resume contentment amidst my heartache, I turned to my childhood dream of restoring an old Mopar, my little black dress that you saw there earlier. And fueled by my desire to leave a legacy that my mama would be proud of, I went on to build an automotive empire which encourages young women to disregard the male dominance of the hobby and prove that they can hold their own as an automotive enthusiast. I've since gained thousands of international followers. I've been featured in an assortment of muscle car magazines, and I'm a guest blogger on the largest Mopar fan site on the web. I run my own blog and my own Facebook page, and I've been featured on a TV show called Classic Restos, and I've restored 3 vehicles belonging to a Grammy-nominated and Academy of Country Music Award-winning singer and songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee. I share this with you because I assume that since you're all being inducted into PsiChi, the International Honor Society of Psychology, that you have some interest in what molds a person. We can talk about nature and nurture, ringing bells and salivating dogs, what parts of the iceberg you see and what parts of the iceberg you don't see. But instead, I want to talk to you about this moment and all of the moments that brought you here tonight. I'm going to talk to you about this moment and all of the moments that you're going to have because of tonight. I share my story with you because 6 years ago, when I experienced the honor that you are all about to experience, I unknowingly laid a very large piece of the foundation on which I would build my dream come true. So what does Psychology Honor Society have to do with someone who's super involved in the automotive industry? You're probably wondering, and I'll tell you. I was lucky, as are all of you, because my initiation into PsiChi strengthened my relationship with Dr. Golan and the 2 organizations that she facilitated. As I was sitting in that chair, worried about falling down and forgetting my speech, I had this little spark, like, glimmering underneath of me. I didn't even know it at the time. But Dr. Golan knew it, and she struck a match to it and ignited that little spark, and a short 5 months later, in conjunction with Psychology Club, we held Hot Rides for Heroes, a classic car show benefiting veterans returning to the States with post-traumatic stress disorder. Amidst suspecting her first child, Dr. Golan dedicated hours and hours on end to helping me pull off my very own car show, and just weeks after having Grace, there she was with her family supporting me at the car show. Had she not expressed such an interest in helping me combine my passions, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So, as she mentioned, we raised an impressive amount of money and over 70 cars showed up. And listening to those cars that I loved rumble their V8s through the archways of trees at the entrance of the college was just absolutely musical to me, and I will never, ever, ever forget it. And it will go down as one of my fondest memories, not only of Gwynedd, but all around. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the car show process, I began handing out flyers trying to get people to come in May for a September event. And I would introduce myself to different guys with cars that I really wanted to see there. I was actually at the Gwynedd Academy show, and I saw 2 gentlemen with 2 Plymouth Roadrunners. I have one of those, and it was always my dream to finish restoring it. So I walked over to them, and I'm chatting with them and I'm handing them my flyer. And, they kind of were like brushing me off a little bit, and I don't think they really believed that I was as interested in the hobby as I claimed. So one of the guys stood up and he popped his hood on the 69 Plymouth, and he said to me, "Can you tell me what engine that is?" And I said, "That's a Hemi. I know that." And he looked at me and kind of stared at me for a second, and then he said, "Well, you really are like the real life Miss Mopar." I laughed. I said, "Okay, now you're going to take my flyer." And I moved on. And by midsummer, we would roll into these car shows in my dad's 62 Chrysler, and people started greeting me with like, "Oh, hey, Miss Mopar," and I felt like a superstar. I thought it was great. When Hot Rides for Heroes rolled around, people were coming up to the registration table and acknowledging me as Miss Mopar, and they were acknowledging me as that more often than they were calling me Michaela, so I thought that was super cool. It stuck, and a year later I launched my Miss Mopar Facebook fan page, which is now the only personalized Facebook fan page led by a female that has exceeded 20,000 unpaid followers. So it's international and it's awesome, and it kind of happened that day. Had it not been for the support of Dr. Gwynedd, I would have never held a car show. I would have never been deemed with such a prestigious title. And being a part of this organization and a student here at Gwynedd Mercy continues to remind me that when someone has a little bit of faith in you, your options are endless. So as you sit here today, you're making a promise to yourself that your future will be bright. It doesn't mean that you won't have to work hard. It doesn't mean that you're not going to skin your knuckles and cry a few tears. But it means that you are capable of setting out and achieving whatever it is that your heart desires. So to conclude, the road of life is a miraculous thing. You never know what the next moment is going to bring. It could bring joy or heartache, hope or discouragement, but you also don't know what the moment after that is going to hold either. All a dream needs is a little bit of gasoline. And right now, all of you guys are right at the fuel pump. You may travel flat desert highways full of routine. You may travel curvy country back roads, and you may be in stop-and-go city traffic. You may ride alone, or you may ride with someone special. Maybe you let someone off or pick someone up at the next stop. There is no right and there is no wrong. Dreams don't have a timeline, trust me. What matters is that you roll down the windows and you sing, even if it is out of tune, and you enjoy every mile of that drive. Don't curse the detours because you might see a beautiful view. And don't fret pounding rain on your windshield because it is a reminder that the sun will again shine. And if you get into a fender bender, think of it as proof that like broken hearts and shattered dreams, all things will mend in time. You never know what a dream will amount to, but you've got to dream, fuel up, and go. I am excited to be here tonight sharing in the moment in which you guys do just that. I wish you all of the best.